Hello, hello. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm back. Oh, everything is looking quite bare right now. Let me turn on my second camera so you guys can see. Ooh, there it is. Okay, so you guys can clearly see from the title and also from what's going on here in the second camera what we're gonna do today. I guess surprise, not surprise, I bought a custom C-footjoint. Yay! But before we get into all of that, I still have my coffee to finish. So I thought I'd finish my coffee, chat with you guys, hang out a bit, and then rinse my mouth, and then we're gonna try this. So first off, I think it's very important to say hello to everyone in the chat. I feel like I haven't done this in quite some time now. A special shout out to Blue Moon, who came in before the stream started and said that they needed to go to a meeting instead of watching this. Very understandable, but thank you for dropping that sweet note. Hope the meeting goes well, and then you can join us after. Hello, Henry. Hello, Eric. Hey, Michael, Savannah, Janie. Janie, how are you doing? You doing all right? Lilac, hello. Donna, Abigail, Mateo, hello, hello. Midnight Moth. Oh, it's so good to see you all again. Hello, Michael, Anthony. Welcome. Welcome. We've got a new one in here. Fantastic. We are very happy to have you. It is just a really chill space in here. We're just nerds about the flute, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Well, I am very, very happy to have this addition in my life. I think while I finish my coffee, I will give you guys the whole backstory. Like, I know that for some of you, this is so sudden, and y'all are like, why? Where did this come from? In truth, I had been contemplating this for a very long time. So if we were to go all the way back, the flute that I played before this Brannon was a Meteki. And this Meteki is a closed hole C-footjoint. In fact, I actually have it. I should probably show you guys. Give me a sec. Oh, man down. Okay. Here she is. Okay, there we go. So this is my Meteki. It needs a lot of TLC, like probably actually straight up needs an overhaul. So I'm just gonna put this to the side here, and let's switch to our second camera so you guys can see my old flute. This is the flute that my parents bought for me when I was 12. I think I was 12 years old. And it was used at the time already. Guys, I apologize for the lighting. It's like golden hour right now and it is streaming in here. So it makes this particular camera go a little bit insane due to the angle of the light. So sorry about that, guys. But this is my Mateki. I called it Precious because it was my precious, and I am a ridiculously sickening Lord of the Rings fan. But anyway, as you can see, C-footjoint. My teacher was able to bargain the price down of this flute really, really far. From what I remember, I believe that the original price for this at that time was $8,000, but it was bargained down to $2,000 because it was seen as not very desirable in the market. Because this is a solid silver flute. It is a professional model flute, but it is closed hole C-footjoint, and it just didn't have all the bells and whistles that people wanted. People wanted open hole B-foot, well, you know, for me being such a tiny child at 12 years old, but needing an upgrade, this ended up being quite perfect. So moving from this to my my custom brand-in that I ended up, well, I guess starting the purchase when I was 19. So yeah, 7 years later, essentially, we, you know, I ended up purchasing a custom brand-in, which is what we see here now. Oh my God, the color, it looks so nice on camera today. I think it's actually because of that, the golden hour light coming in. We've got some golden hour special lighting. So I'm just gonna put this off to the side here. Ugh. So what I ended up getting was this flute with this was the original foot joint that came with it. I got all the bells and whistles that I could. So you can see the D-sharp roller, gizmo. Gizmo at the time, I think you actually had to ask for that. Nowadays, if you get a B-foot joint, that gizmo is like a given. But from what I recall actually ticking the box for a gizmo. I feel like the way I'm talking about myself makes me sound so old, which I probably am, but like, you know, don't really feel it. So this is not the original head joint. For those of you guys who are new here, this is not the original head joint. The original head joint is in here, which I have now paired with my backup flute. So I'm just gonna pop out the original head joint. This is the original head joint. There's a piece of tape on it because it's too narrow to fit into my Trevor James copper alloy flute, which is my backup flute. So I'm gonna put that off to the side as well. But yeah, so my original setup was this head joint, this flute, this body, and this foot joint. That was the original flute altogether. If you guys want some specs, let me just grab some of the specs out. I do actually have the original invoice saved to my Google Drive, so give me a second to grab that. Let's see. So, where is it? I have too many things in my drive, guys. Yes. Okay. Original receipt. All right. I'm looking at the original receipt. I'm not going to show it to you guys because it has some private information on there. But this is a custom Brannon Cooper Broger Mechanic, French model offset G A442, 10 karat rose gold body and head joint tubing, sterling silver mechanism, Broger mechanic and acoustic, C-sharp trill, B foot joint with gizmo. It's even on the invoice. Like back in my day, you had to specify that there is a gizmo with the B foot joint. D sharp roller, modern Cooper style head joint. So that was the style, that's the style of this particular head joint right here. Man, that color looks so nice in this golden hour. So copper, modern Cooper, what am I saying? Modern Cooper style head joint. And then the case and cover was also in the invoice as well. So, there it is. Hey, Nicholas, how are you doing? I think I missed a couple of people. Nicholas, Ian, Victor. Yes. Okay. I think we're good. Cool. Okay. So, that's the original head joint. Now, a few years ago, guys, when did I make that video about my Monka head joint? I'm just gonna look up my own channel. Wait, no, I can go to my dashboard. I'm gonna go to my dashboard. So let's see. Dream head joint. I'll just put dream. Yeah. Okay. So this came out. When did this come out? 2020. Oh, it's like 4.5 years ago now. Oh my God. It's so long ago now. Oh no. When was the day that I tried it? The day I tried it was April 30th, 2020. Oh my God, it's almost 5 years ago now. Where did the time go? To me, I still call it my new head joint. It ain't new no more, guys. It ain't new no more. Right? Hey, Francisco, how are you? Okay. So anyway, almost 5 years ago, I ended up purchasing this Monka head joint, which was it was an accident. I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to be making a very professional flute review of Monka head joints for the Flute Center because I am a professional, and I definitely don't review flutes for the purpose of trialing it for myself. But, you know, everyone has their weakness, okay? I am but a human with flaws. But anyway, so the head joint ended up kind of, filling in my need I could feel for a more comfortable feeling for myself. Also, the wood lip plate allows me to sort of dig into a woodier sound, which I tend to prefer. And just in general, I have a lot more flexibility with this head joint, which is personally what I'm looking for. I'm looking to be able to perform soloistically if I feel like it, and also chamber music wise if I feel like it. Mostly it's because of what I do. The bulk of my career is actually teaching. So, if I'm going to teach well, I need a flute that is flexible enough for me to demonstrate kind of like a bunch of different ways of playing. Add on top of that, I make content as well. So this type of content that I make, I do find that it is very important for my flute to be extremely flexible because I want to be very flexible. So I do want to remind you guys that not everyone prefers this. Not every professional wants to be as flexible as me. This is my personal preference. And this is what fits for my job. Depending on what your job ends up becoming, you will want to get a flute that will suit your job's needs. So my job's needs, wait, Joe is human. My job's needs is to be very flexible so that I can, reach out to as many different flutists as possible. I can, kind of help different flutists, as many different flutists as possible. That's kind of like what my job essentially has become. So this head joint, I feel, really sort of like opened up that possibility. I'm able to sound very soloistic if I want to. Excuse me. I'm also really able to sound very blendy and chamber music-y if I want to. On top of being able to sort of like sound like a wooden flute when I want to, but then also sound like a regular metal flute if I want to. I personally really like that. So, and just in general, because it's so much more comfortable for my mouth to play, I noticed that my expression really opened up. It allowed me to really explore my breathing. Just in general made me a much better flutist because I could relax down. So, okay, so that was almost 5 years ago. In reality, I considered actually originally buying a C-footjoint with this flute back when I was 19. But ultimately, I ended up with the B-footjoint, partially because I succumbed to peer pressure and trend pressure, I guess. I really wanted to future-proof my flute as much as I could. And I felt that ultimately I do like enough modern music that has low Bs in it that I was like, let's future-proof myself and just get a B-footjoint. So I did. However, one lasting issue that I have had is that it has caused the flute to actually be really heavy for me. Now, this particular flute, this Brandon flute, is actually really light compared to other flutes. Some of my friends have tried my flute and they look like absolute monsters compared to my flute. I know that I make my flute look huge, but in real life, my flute's actually really small compared to other flutes. Like people can feel it when they play my flute. They're like, oh, it's so delicate and so small. Yeah, with so much, so much length and an extra key and extra mechanism on the right side of the flute that is like way off beyond where my right hand supports it. That extra weight has actually proven to become a problem. So now I'm finally getting to the meat of the story. Saturday, you are agreeing your B-foot flute is so dang heavy. Yep. So, oh, and Michael, you actually played a piece in it in wind ensemble, in orchestra and wind ensemble that had a low B in it. Yeah. So a lot of the more modern music tends to have low B, and that's actually why I wanted to future-proof myself. So, essentially, I think this was bound to happen one day down in my career. I knew that this was going to happen, that I was going to have both a C foot and a B foot. But because we had spent so much money on the custom flute back when I was 19, and it took me a really long time to completely pay back the money because I borrowed some from a family member. And I did end up paying it back completely. Ironically, it was the December after I purchased my Monka was when I made the final payment for my flute. So yes, it has been a long time in the making. And so yeah, I have had issues with my right hand posture and just in general, like, some tension in my posture that I have worked through a lot of it in the last few years, especially while working through the Ibera Concerto. But back in, I want to say it was around February of last year, 2024. I started to kind of wonder to myself, like, while I was doing the Ibera, my Ibera practice sessions. So in the back of my head, and I wasn't really saying it out loud very much in the actual streams, but I was like, I feel like I could do these passages, these super fast passages, with a lot less tension if I just didn't have as much weight to hold up. Because, I had done so much tweaking. I had learned the rock stroke grip, which helped a ton. But there was just this, like, you can only adjust so much when the issue is the weight of the flute. You know what I mean? Like, you can adjust yourself as much as you can. At a certain point, there's a physical cap where the weight of the instrument is just too off kilter on one side for your body. This is not water, Victor, but I hope you don't mind. This is coffee. Okay. Lovely. Hey, Noelle. Oh, shoot. You gave yourself wicked elbow tendonitis. Golfer's elbow is what it's called when you first switched to a B foot due to the weight difference, and you weren't expecting that. Well, there you go. Thank you for validating my experience. So, yeah, so I started to contemplate, what if I finally, after so many years of owning my flute completely, like I have no more, I had no more payments for years at that point. So I was like, and I even got a new head joint that fits me so well. So I was like, do I finally do it? Do I get, because I was like, do I put down my pride? Like, why am I wielding this flute with this crazy B foot at the end of it that I hardly ever use? I do use it sometimes. So you guys will know that there's some video game songs and stuff that I like to dip down to low B. But the thing is, does the B foot joint have to stay on the flute when you're playing, like the bulk of your other music? Like 95% of the music that I play does not go down to low B. So I'm like, why am I holding up this weight for 95% of the music that I play? Like, can't I just pop on the foot joint, the B foot joint, for the 5% of music that I do play that goes down to low B? Couldn't I just make that switch for that one song? Why am I doing this? Well, I mean, I very soon figured out why, because, well, if we continue the story chronologically, I believe it was, I think it was, so February was when I was starting to think about it, but I wasn't really saying it out loud, mostly because I didn't want to excite you guys too much, because I didn't know if I really wanted to do it. So in April, I went to Singapore to visit family that I had never met before. And while we were there, I ended up visiting a Yamaha store. And in this Yamaha, I talked about this. I did talk about this. In the Yamaha store, they were selling B-foot joint flutes with their C-footjoint versions just right next to each other. And the only price difference was the difference in like material, because B-foot joint literally takes more material. And that was it, but they were sold equally. In the States, a lot of times you only see C-foot joints on beginner model flutes. And this is really just because there's just not much of a demand for C-foot joints, or I think there should be more of a demand, but that's a whole nother issue. But there just isn't that much of a demand in the market in the States for C-foot joints in higher level flutes. But I was looking at these higher level flutes in Singapore, they're just, it really is just, which one do you want? There's no like, this one is worse than the other or anything like that. They're the exact same model. It's just that one is B foot and one is C foot. And I was like, you know what? Like, I really need to kind of like reconsider why I got the B foot. I kept saying that it was to future-proof my flute, which I guess I did, because now I have a B foot joint to play on whenever I want to. But there you go. Nicholas, just another flute guy here, is same thing you've noticed in Japan and Taiwan. Yeah, there you go. So, your first flute teacher's mentor up in Canada, Dr. David Gary, played on a 14K Brannon with a convertible foot joint, and he keeps it on a low C 90% of the time. There you go. You see what I mean? It's like, that's exactly how I feel. Is like 90 to 95% of the time that you play the flute, you are never going to go down to the low B. Well, that is the 5% of the time you'll go down to low B. So, sounds like future-proofing my body. Yeah, basically, Liz. So I was like, okay, you know, I came back from Singapore, I couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, why am I making myself suffer on a B foot joint for 95% of what I play? And like, I don't think the E-Bear Concerto even goes down to low B. Like freaking E-Bear Concerto doesn't even go down to low B. And I'm like, why am I holding up so much extra weight? Then I had a student, and this was sometime in April, I believe. May. I think it was May when I came back. So in May, I had a student who was having a lot of issues with especially their right hand posture after switching and upgrading to a flute that had a B foot joint. And so I was like kind of hesitant to bring it up with them, but I was like, okay, you don't have to take me up on this, because this will involve spending a butt ton of extra money that you've already spent on your new flute. But I would also feel completely irresponsible as a teacher if I didn't discuss this with you. I was like, you know, is there a possibility that your flute tech, the person who sold you this flute, can your flute tech track down whether or not there is a C foot joint for your model of flute? Because their flute was a Japanese flute. I think it's a Miyazawa. I can't quite remember. So, you know, my student took it to heart, but I didn't realize how much my student would take it to heart. 2 weeks later, they show up to their next lesson and they're like, Joanna, guess what? And she holds up her flute and voila, there is a C foot joint on there, because it's a Japanese flute. It's a lot easier for them to track down the same model, but a different foot joint. And she was like, worth every penny. Like this is like, it absolutely changed her posture. Like her posture looks so much better. And she was playing a lot more easily, and you know, she was just having a lot of fun. So I was like, okay, all right. Now I have to think about it seriously for myself, because how much of a hypocrite am I to recommend this to my own student and not do it myself when I'm having the exact same problem? So I was like, okay. Another flutist also plays on a C-foot Miramatsu. There you go. See, it's all coming to light now, okay? Apparently, a whole bunch of professionals play on C-foots. But, like, just nobody knows because no one notices. Anyway. So, I was like, okay, I will, fine. Like, I on my honor as a flute teacher, I need to look into this. So I talked it over with Hubs, with John, and I was like, this is going to be like buying another head joint. You know, I know it. I knew, like, even before asking for the pricing, I was like, there's no way this is going to be like buying another head joint. So I was like, okay, have to run it by Hubs, make sure our finances look good for me to make such a big purchase. Then went through the Flute Center. So I asked the Flute Center to inquire Brandon about the different pricings for, like a C-foot or a B and C-foot convertible. So I do want to make a note that I am going to tell you the approximate prices that I got, but that is as of last year when I got the pricing. Inflation is a thing. Okay. So if you're watching this stream, or if I make this into a video later, if you are watching this much later in the future, the pricing likely has changed. Okay. So, but as of 2024, the approximate price that was estimated for me was that a C-footjoint was going on a 10K rose gold custom flute like this was going to cost $7,600 US to, and that's not because they have it, it's because they're going to make it for me. Okay. Like they make it from scratch. So 7,600 ish for a C-footjoint. For a convertible was in the range of 13,000. And I was like, oh, well, if I already have a B-footjoint, it doesn't really make sense for me to get the convertible if it's that much. So I was like, I think the thing that makes the most sense is to get just a regular C-footjoint. So yes, I agree. Inflation, very sad face. They mine the gold and melt it before they make it. Okay. Maybe they don't go that far, but they are making it from scratch for you. Okay. So I was like, okay, these are big numbers. So, and I refuse to make a sort of like shotgun impulse decision about this. So I was like, I'm just going to sit on it quietly and not tell you guys. Like, I told no one except John. So I was just like, we're just going to sleep on it. I'm going to let myself sleep on it for like a week, 2 weeks, something like that. And I need to find the stream, guys. I need to find the stream. I don't know which stream this happened in, but it was sometime in May or June. I can't remember. One of the 2 months. One of the practice streams, a very, very sweet person, very sweet, came into the chat. And I really mean that they were very sweet about this. But they came into the chat and they were like, wow, Joanna, that's a really beautiful flute. Is it an alto flute? Guys, the moment I saw that comment, I was like, oh, I really am as small as I think I am. I look like I am playing an alto flute when I play a B-footjoint, guys. That is how small I am. Why have I been doing this to myself since I was 19? Why? Now, no shame on the person who said this. No shame. In fact, thank you. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for being so sweet about it, like genuinely sweet about it. Okay, thank you. I really, honestly, if not for you saying that in the chat, I would not have actually jumped on this. Okay, But it's just the fact that it was just like in my face in the chat. I was like, okay, I mean, I already know the numbers, you know, discussed it with my husband. It looks good with our finances. Literally, all we had to do was call the Flute Center and pay for it, because Flute Center was going to be our middleman for this whole situation. So I was like, we have literally everything set up. Like, literally only thing I had to do was reply Flute Center and be like, take my money. Hey, Felix. Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was like the same week, I had another chat with John and was like, I'm really going to do this. Are you actually okay with this? Like, this is like $7,600 that you're just saying goodbye to. Well, not really, because it's going to come back in the form of a foot joint, right? So, he said, it's good. It's good. You need to do it. Like, you got to do what you got to do. You know yourself, you know your body. You're a professional. You deserve an instrument that you can play comfortably. I love my husband. Love him. And, so I emailed the Flute Center. And then we set up a time to, do the whole payment thing. And we said goodbye to our money. So this was like, I want to say it was like June or July, something around there. And then but we were coming up towards my usual time to send my flute in for a COA. So because I didn't want to do sort of like a double, like a double shipping of my flute, like I didn't want to ship my flute out for a fitting, then have it come back and then ship it out for a COA. Like, that makes no sense. It makes more sense to do, like, if the COA is close enough to when I want the foot joint, it makes more sense to get the COA done by the Flute Center, because I usually get my COA done by the Flute Center. Get my COA done, and then they can ship it to Brannon to get the C-foot made and fitted, and then have Brannon send it back to me. Because that way, like, my flute basically just kind of like takes a little detour to Brannon and then comes back to me. So I was like, that makes the most sense. So originally we intended for this to happen in October, because October is my normal month that I send my flute in for a COA. And I pick October because usually it's kind of after the back to school COA rush. And it's usually right before all the instruments break down during the holiday season. So I personally find that October is like a pretty good month, at least for me. I don't know. I might have jinxed it now that I've told you guys. But anyway, then I realized I had promised my student that I was going to be playing at their wedding, which I've talked about in previous streams. And I was going to be playing at their wedding in like late-ish October. So called up the Flute Center again and was like, hey guys, can we delay this? Like, is Brannon going to be okay with that too? Turns out everything's totally fine. So we delayed it until November. So because I wanted to make sure that I was playing my nice professional main flute for my student's wedding. I didn't want to be playing on a backup flute at my student's wedding. Plus, my student got to try my flute, which was cool. So then, so early November, after I'd come back from that wedding, sent out this flute. And then, so the COA happened first. Usually the COA is like, it depends on how busy they are, a week, 2 weeks, something like that. And then after that, they sent it over to Brannon. And then there was the huge holiday rush. So I personally, I wasn't really, worried or anything. So I just waited. And then I actually ended up receiving my flute and the foot joint back in, I believe it was New Year's Eve. So in total, my flute was gone for almost 2 months, which honestly, in my opinion, for both a COA and a fitting, not bad. Like, Flute Center was really good at keeping me updated. They were asking for updates for me and then updating me. And then, like, if I asked for an update, they got back to me really quickly. It was really smooth, really, like, stress-free, really. And it was really fantastic. So my husband is a good one for sure. I do think he's a good one. I do. But yeah, so, and now we're here. And I have prevented myself from trying this because I wanted to get my real reaction on stream with you guys right now. Oof. Is it time for a COA, Felix? Sounds like it's time for a COA. Okay. I have one gulp of coffee left, so I'm going to try that. Gulp it down. And then one last thing I wanted to share with you guys before I start playing. There we go. Okay, one last thing. Now, earlier this week, when I posted I set up this stream, surprise everyone, I got a foot joint, got a C-footjoint. Just another flute guy here in the chat, Nicholas, informed me that he figured out which flute tech made my C-footjoint. And so I wanted to share this super cute photo, which is a screenshot of the flute tech's Instagram story. Now, I contacted the flute tech. The flute tech is a lovely lady named Kari Heggie. And she said that, she knew that this flute belonged to a content creator, but she could see, essentially the way that it happened was that the box that they received from the Flute Center and the order that they received from the Flute Center for the C-footjoint was just from the Flute Center, right? So it didn't have my name on it. So there was this kind of I think I know whose flute this is, kind of going on behind the scenes. So she put up the story, and I'm so sad I did not catch it in real time. I wish I caught it in real time, because I could have probably put a little funny little comment on it or something. But let me show you guys image, and okay, let me find it for you guys here. There it is. Okay. I'm going to just kind of put it up on the screen for you guys real quick. Okay. It's a very big photo. I'm trying to make it not quite so, hilariously monstrous. But here. Isn't that super cute? So this is Kari. Kari, if you're watching this later, hello. And thank you so much for making my C-footjoint. So there she is. So you can see what she wrote here. I just want to say I am so appreciative of how vague, but with little hints that she dropped in here about whose flute this is. So she said, made a C-foot for a content creator in the flute world. And so I got to play her flute with the new foot joint and a company head today. Isn't that great? Made a C-foot. Isn't that that is so cool to be able to say that. I'll I made a C-foot joint, you know? And so it's great. So she put a company head. So you can see that that's not my head joint. They put a Brandon head on it to try it out, which totally makes sense. But I love that she kept it vague who I was. But just another flute guy, Nicholas here. Nicholas recognized this tiny here. I'm going to do this so that I can like really zoom in. Okay. You guys see that? You guys see that? No other person's flute has a C cork that looks like that. That is iconic. So if you look at my flute, because this is my flute, you see it? It's that this particular piece of cork has this little kind of like slash through it. And Nicholas recognized it. And the best part, there we go. The best part was that Nicholas told me that he like was messaging back and forth with Kari. And Kari apparently on purpose let that little C key cork show just to see who would recognize it. She did it on purpose, and I love it. I love it. That is the kind of social media shenanigans that I am all about. Absolutely all about this kind of thing. Like, it's the if you know, you know. You know what I mean? Like, but other than that, just like, you know, if you don't know, you'd never notice it, right? But if you know, you know. Yeah. If you know, you know. So, Kari, again, thank you so much. And Nicholas, thank you so much for connecting me with Kari. It's just been really wonderful to be able to put a name to the person who made my C-foot joint. It's wonderful. It's just freaking wonderful. I think it's so cool to know like that there was like a real human behind making this beautiful thing for me. So there you guys go. That took me more than 45 minutes to tell you guys the entire story of how I ended up with a C-foot joint. We do have a very tight-knit community. It's so cool. But yeah, I was so tickled to see this picture here. And just to see that, like, she just very sneakily showed the C key cork. It's so good. Oh my God. Freaking love it. Anyway, I believe it is time for me to start playing. Instead of just swishing my mouth with water here and then swallowing it, I'm going to do a proper mouth swish, wash out, rinse. So I'm going to excuse myself for a hot second here and maybe play a few ads. I hope you guys don't mind. And then I will be right back. We are going to be playing some music. I have not practiced the Iber in a hot second. Basically, since I got COVID in September. So, but I am very curious to feel what the differences are. So I do actually want to be kind of comparing with the B-foot joint and the C-foot joint. Maybe what I'll do is like take the first page. So the first page has always posed a weight problem to me. First page of the first movement. And then the other part that I know I definitely have a problem with the weight is the third movement in various parts. So I think that's what I really want to test to see what the differences are. Oh, Pluggo! Yes, you're right. I need to go get Pluggo as well. I think they're in here. Yeah. Yes. Pluggos. Okay. Oh. Guys, I desperately need a bigger trunk than that. The amount of things that I am trying to stuff into that trunk is now spilling onto my desk. I need a way better storage solution. Oh God. But anyway, got my Pluggos. Thank you for the reminder. I did remember that yesterday, and then I promptly forgot about it. So I will put this on the desk here to remind myself to put that in as well. But yes, I'm going to go swish out my mouth. I will be right back. Give me a hot second. I probably also need to go to the bathroom because coffee. That was too much information. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, hello. Surprise, surprise. I'm now standing up. I totally did not remember to put on some ads, so oh well. Whatever, ad revenue only gives me like literal sense anyway, so it's okay. Okay. Hey, Chef Maiku. How are you doing? Hey, Sean. Hello. Hey, Michael. Did I say hi to you before? I think I did. Okay. All right. So it is time to give this a go. So technically this is my own flute, so I don't actually have to take off my ring, but I feel like it. So I'm going to switch to my silicone ring here. Oh my God, yeah. For those of you guys who are near the fires in around the LA area, are you guys are okay? I hope you guys are okay. It's been terrifying watching the footage. Yes, seafoot goodness is happening right now. All thanks to this lovely lady, Kari Heggie, the flute tech who made my seafoot at Brennan. So I'm excited. Okay, so let's do a little comparison. We got to start with what we know first. So I will pop on the B foot joint. And then I will try the C foot joint. So I think what I want to do, as I said earlier before the break, I want to open up my Ibert concerto. I haven't opened it in so long that my computer really had to think about it for a hot second. Okay, so we are going to open it up to the beginning. I have it on screen here in front of me, but just for, you know, for copyright things, I'm not going to put it up on the screen. But we will start with what we know. We're just going to make it so that you guys can see the whole flute. Ah! This is so nice. Okay, I'm going to pop out the plug that I had in there. I do enjoy the fact that the Flute Center put it back in, even after they COA'd it. That's really quite cute of them to do that. Okay, so I'm going to put the plug-o in. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Wah! So excited. Okay. Oh. Okay. It fell, but I saw where it fell. Okay, so we got this. We are going to stick this in here. Let's see if I can show you guys. Ah, perfect fit. Look at that. It just looks closed hole now. Okay, so it is Christmas morning all over again. Hello, Jonathan. You were just, by the way, that's a great name. That's just saying, that's a great name. You were literally just watching my flute inventory upgrade plan yesterday. Did I say, I don't think I said anything about a C-foot joint. I don't think I said anything about that, right? Because I was still in denial at that point. Okay, now you're going to see Joanna looking like she's playing an alto flute. Okay, let's do this. Oh my God, this just looks and feels right. Okay, by the way, I can see that my hair light is too bright now that the sun is starting to set. So, like, give me a second. There, that's better. Okay. Denial is a river in Egypt. In true. Ooh, that plug-o just feels really good. Okay, let's play some harmonics and stuff like that. This is actually my first time playing this back. I have not put it together at all. So this is with my regular B foot joint. Oh, I should do like harmonics with the C foot joint too. Okay. I am not actually used to being able to get that high C immediately. Feels good to be back on my flute. The low C, I definitely can feel that I need to readjust to this head joint. It is a lot more comfortable, but I've grown used to this again because I've been using this to teach on. Regardless, let's try it with the C-footjoint. Okay. Here we go. By the way, if you guys are wondering where I got this, because I did mention it somewhere, sometime. You may be wondering where I got this extension from. I got it from Weissman himself at NFA. He just gave it to me for free. Thanks, man. Okay. Oh my God, it's so light. I've never actually picked it up. What the heck? Oh my God. It is actually so much lighter. Holy cow. By the way, if you guys are wondering, yes, this box here is a head joint box. But because it's foam, you could just like put other stuff in it. So we put the foot joint in it. Oh, it's so light. Nice. Nice. Oh my gosh. Wow, it's so light. Oh my God. Oh, it's so light. What the heck? So, okay, immediately I'm noticing that what this has done, it feels like it's rebalanced my flute. So, like, the bulk of the weight now is not, like, I feel that when my B foot joint is on, the bulk of the weight is actually over here. And so I definitely feel that the flute is kind of, like, essentially falling towards the foot joint side. But now I can really feel that, like, it's very balanced in the middle now. Like, super balanced in the middle. That's interesting. Oh my God. Wow is the first response. The second is, I did not expect this, okay? I think for me, the reason why those high notes are so much easier with the C foot is that I don't know if it's because the whole length of the flute has now been shortened. If maybe it has done something to, like, where you feel the air bubble needs to be in the mouth. Usually for those super, super high notes, I feel like my air bubble needs to be quite high. Like to the point where I have to sort of like lift my soft palate for the absolute highest notes. You know, the ones that go into the fourth register. But I'm noticing that that's actually too high now with the C foot joint. So I can actually afford to have that air bubble sit a little bit lower in the mouth. And that's actually why it's so much more easy to get those high notes out. Because now I don't have to like shove that air bubble so high in the mouth, which is actually not, like, ideally that is not something that I personally want to do. It's just I've learned how to do it. Interesting. Okay. I want to now play just like a few high notes up in there, just regular high notes, and see how I feel. Yeah, that air bubble can just sit super low. Well, low for a high note. Like, so I don't have to feel like I have to go, oh, to play those like super high notes. We need to experiment. We are going to try those same high notes with the B foot joint. Yeah, I'm right. At least for my flute, when you swap between a B foot joint and a C foot joint, when you use the C foot joint, for some reason, because the entire length of the flute is so much shorter, it makes it so that you do not have to, you don't have to shove the air bubble so high in the mouth. Now it's like nice and low. Well, not really. It's still higher, but I don't have to shove it against the roof of my mouth. Interesting. I mean, I didn't expect the review part of this to come out. This was really just supposed to be a live reaction, but okay. Actually, why did I put my C foot joint back? I think I just really wanted to be a C foot joint forever now. But we need to play some of this first page of the E-Bear with the B foot joint. Okay. Okay, so this is how I'm used to it. I have not done this in a hot second, so I might need a little bit of review. A little messy. I would say my tonguing isn't the best there. But now I'm curious to see how this is going to feel. Okay. I'm not used to it. The balance is so different because I'm so used to holding it up like this. I'm actually kind of doing this now. So now I have to just let myself just stay really relaxed and just trust that the flute is going to stay there. Like I don't have to go like this. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm not used to that. So I think I was compensating on my left hand too. So my left hand, I can feel wants to do this motion, which is a motion that I have been fighting for a very long time. And I'm realizing I think I was doing it because of some sort of weight distribution problem. So we're gonna do it slow. And I'm just going, I have to tell myself that I can trust my flute now. Right there. Yeah. I think it was a weight distribution issue. Like, cause I think when my fingers are going nuts, sorry, wrong microphone. When my fingers are going nuts on my right hand, I think I had to sort of like push up the flute more on my left hand so that the flute wouldn't, like, because I had to essentially like hold up the flute more with my left hand because my right hand was occupied with like flying fingers. I think. At least that's what it feels like. You guys think I sound good? Intervals sound closer and more stable? Yeah, I feel it too. Okay, so I'm noticing my fingers can stay closer to the keys much more naturally now as well. It like definitely it's a bit of a shock right now though, because I'm like not used to it. But that was very clean. And pretty relaxed too. Also, I have not practiced this in months. So that's, I think, says something. Okay. Let's keep going through the rest of the page. I'm going to switch back to my B foot joint. Okay. Yeah, ooh, it is so much heavier with the B foot. Like the difference is actually insane. Okay, so now. Okay, I don't know about how it comes across to you guys, but that is way better. So there's a few parts that I know for sure I used to have a lot of trouble with. So in particular, and I think I messed it up on the B foot joint as well. This part. so I have my work cut out for me. There's a on both the left hand and the right hand. So it is a lot easier. However, it's not a magic pill. Okay, because I have spent so long on this flute on the B foot joint that I have compensated for the B foot joint. So one of them is the right hand tends to still want to grip because there's, there used to be so much more weight. The other thing is the left hand. I did not realize how much I use weird tiny little movements, like little like wrist kind of flicks to make up for the weight of the B foot joint when my right hand is occupied, or when the most of the fingers of my left hand are occupied. So I'm noticing that it's when I lift my pinky, ring, and middle fingers, I'm doing this weird like flick that I don't need to anymore with the C foot. Yeah, and I can hear the much brighter tone too. It's way brighter. It's like more open. I think open is more the word that I would use. It just feels a lot more open. Yeah. Okay. But that's my conclusion. I do have my work cut out for me. I definitely need to return to practicing every single day. I may not stream my practice sessions to you guys though. It was something that I kind of discovered I kind of loved, was streaming to you guys once a week. It allows me to do more topical things like this, and not just the same thing over and over again. And also, I am running low on time. There are a lot of things that I'm doing and that I'm up to. So I think I have to do that thing that most people do, which is squeeze in 15 minutes here, squeeze in 15 minutes there throughout the day. So that you end up getting somewhere between a half an hour to an hour practicing a day. I think that's what I need to do. I have to be like every other professional flutist, pretty much. Most professional flutists have to kind of do that. You just kind of like squeeze in a little bit of practicing like in between students, and then you end up with like an hour to an hour and a half, or, if you actually have a little bit of extra time, you can like tack on an hour somewhere or something like that. But I think I need to do that now. But I will report back to you guys. Don't worry, I'll report back to you guys. And if I come across something interesting while I'm practicing, it's very easy for me to just kind of record a little snippet for you guys. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Vibrant, yes, I agree, Midnight. I agree. Okay, so the next spot is the third movement, in particular the opening. So the opening, it flies up to the high A. The high A is usually a really big issue, and because you're flying up that high, the fingerings up there are very destabilizing. So I've always found it to be very destabilizing. We're going to try it on the B foot, which is what I'm used to. And we're going to try different spots. I'm just going to pick a few different spots, starting from the beginning of the third movement, and then we're going to keep going. Yeah, I also hope I find some great, I hope I come across some more interesting discoveries as I get used to the C foot. And if I do, don't worry guys, I will be sure to film a quick little thing for you guys. It'll probably end up as a short, so it'll be really easy for you guys to find as well. So, okay, let's do this. actually surprised by how smooth that went. I think technically you're supposed to go a little faster, but it's okay. We're just trying out the differences here. I definitely feel like it almost feels like my sound. It feels like my sound is like more closed off with the B foot. Do you guys hear it? At least I hear it. Oh gosh. Oh, it's so much easier. So my fingers are like, ah! Those harmonics sound even better. Yeah, instantly more volume. It's way more open. The harmonics don't sound as much like harmonics. Do you guys notice how much more open that sounds? Like essentially I can cheat even harder. But okay, the biggest thing I'm noticing is when I'm doing a rip up and I'm going over the break between the second register and the third register, I can really feel that I do this like weird, like, kind of like hand flick that normally would be counterbalanced by the weight of the B foot. And I don't have to do it anymore. I actually can just go just up and down. That's it. No weird like movement of the whole hand to compensate for weight. So that's what I was just practicing in the beginning there. So I'll practice it a little bit more so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so normally when I go over the break, and I think I noticed this in the middle register as well. So between the first and the second register, every time I go over the break, I do this sort of motion. I usually have to do kind of like a weird, it feels like I'm pushing more against the flute, sort of like at an angle to kind of hold up the flute while I'm going over the break, which is extra movement, which slows you down. And I knew that it was probably a weight issue, but I didn't know that it was going to be this much of a weight issue. So let's continue. The next part has a lot of going over the break in the between the first and the second register, so this is going to be fun. Okay, I really had to keep telling myself to like just up and down. No need to compensate. No need to compensate. Just up and down. And I don't know if you guys heard it, but for a hot second, that was the cleanest I have ever done that like going over the break. Holy cow. Yeah, I think that's the smoothest I've ever done it, and this is not practiced. So I can only imagine how this is going to feel when I do practice. Okay, another spot coming up here that I have historically had issues. Mostly it's the entire third movement that I have had issues with. There's also one spot in the first movement that we can go back to later that I know I have consistently had issues. Hey, Francisco, welcome back. Bunch of other spots with the B foot. Oh, this spot. So it's a lot of tension in the right hand because I'm essentially having to kind of like hold up the flute like this. And it sort of tilts, it forces my wrist to tilt inward, or that is like tilt to my left to hold up the flute, but the rest of my fingers still have to go up and down. And because of that, this is a very familiar feeling to me, that it has to have that kind of tension. And then there's another wonderful spot. Yep, I'm feeling it. Definitely, very definitely feeling that tension there. Let's try a bit of the recap. Okay, I remember now. So every time I go over the break, usually I have to put all my fingers down on the right hand quite forcefully, because if I don't, the whole flute essentially slips. Okay. All right, and keep going. Definitely a lot of tension. Also tension in the left hand too, is trying to make sure that the flute doesn't essentially like slip downward due to the weight. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, we should try the last note as well. What was it again? I did get it. Okay. And then one last spot that I've remembered that I always had trouble with in the first movement. Yeah, that's the line. Okay. Right there. Those 2 bars in particular have always been sort of like a 50-50 toss up every time. Okay, now we can take off the B foot. We're gonna put the C foot back and try all those spots we just did. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so because I don't have to have that tension anymore, it's actually knocked off the timing of some of my fingers. So I think I need to do some technique exercises again. So probably I'm going to continue with the 480 exercises by Moïse, just to essentially, like, I need to do a little bit of it every day to sort of retime my fingers, because now I don't have to compensate for the tension in my wrist. Because if there is tension in your hand, elbow, shoulder, somewhere along your arm, that tension slows your fingers down. And so you have to put in way more effort to, yes, the turnarounds would be fantastic. Yes. Thank you for reminding me about those. I will do those. So yeah, if you have any added tension in your arm, anywhere in your arm, what it translates to is it slows your fingers down. Because it slows your fingers down, you have to actually be way more trigger happy with your fingers. So you have to feel like you are moving your fingers really, really fast. And now, because I have taken away that tension, my fingers are way too trigger happy now. Like they're just like, for certain notes where I'm used to having extra tension, I go way too fast now. Yeah. So let's do this part again with that in mind. Figure out there where I'm being trigger happy. I think it's the switch to the G flat. Oh, no. It's to the E flat, which is what I was talking about earlier, is that every time I feel like I have to put down a whole bunch of fingers, I would have to put them all down really fast and really hard, to essentially make up for the like weird weight distribution that I was feeling. So now my fingers, I think, are too trigger happy to come down, especially when a lot of fingers are coming down at the same time. I think that's what's happening. So let's try that again. as well. Going from the D to the E flat, lots of fingers coming down. And that's where the issue is. Some fingers are more trigger happy than others, because some fingers had to move faster when I had tension. Okay. Okay, it's possible. You guys can hear that after a few times, I can like kind of will myself into it. But that's going to take some time for that to become muscle memory, for sure. Okay, let's try the spots in the third movement that I was trying with the B foot. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so starting around here. Trigger happy, trigger happy. Okay, the good news about this is one, I can eventually play even faster. Because if this is the case, that means that I have actually, by getting a C-footjoint, that has actually broken me through my physical ceiling of how fast I can go. So that I think has been sort of the main thing that I have been looking for. I had this suspicion since February of last year that if I got a C-footjoint, it would break me through my physical kind of limit of how fast I could go. So I think I have proven to myself that that is the case and why. And the why, if you're just dropping in, is because the added tension that I had before forced me to feel like I had to move my fingers faster in order to compensate for the tension, because the tension will always slow you down. But now that I don't have the tension, now I can go really fast, and I'm not used to it. So yes, definitely have to retime the fingers. We'll keep going. Yeah. Yeah, that is way more comfortable. Okay. Let's do a few of the middle part. Okay, I'm really noticing how much less clunky my switches down to D with all three fingers coming down. It's so much, it really does not require me to like snap them down anymore. And that is a weird feeling to get used to. Weird feeling. Okay, we'll try the other spots. am too used to snapping my fingers down on both hands. That's what I really noticed there. So I have to get used to really like allowing myself to be like very relaxed. Then I could just very lightly bring down my fingers. Okay. Wow. Wow. I'm excited. That one I think I need to kind of really rework how my fingers feel doing that. All right. Yeah, that's definitely, I think I can make it even cleaner than that, but that is already just way cleaner than I can do it normally on the B foot. Okay. All right. Now I'm very, very curious about the very, very end. So F7 coming in. Do I need to use a different fingering? I'm wondering if I need to use a different fingering. I'm going to try a few. So we're going to go to wfg.woodwind.org. If you haven't, please donate so that he'll keep up this this website forever. Half hole from left to... I was doing that. Was I not doing that correctly? F7. There. Okay. There's also a version that just doesn't have the first key down. L1, R3. Oh, R3? Oh. Trill 2. Yeah, I do see that. I see that lifted here. R middle. Yes. L1 to R middle. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we talked about before, and that's what I was trying just now. Here, like this, right? Oh. Flipping half hole to left too. Yeah, I'm seeing that. Let's see. Hey, Che Eduardo. Better. Oh, we're gonna have to figure this out. Okay. Huh. I'm going to try out all the ones that I see here. That's like starting to come out. Nope. See. I see some real wacky ones. Okay, we might need to save this for another day for me to figure this out. Okay, I got my homework cut out for me. Interesting. I wonder if someone has figured out a good F7 for a C-foot joint. Okay, so you're looking at that one. Okay. Okay. I like it. This is a great app. Okay. Let me, so it's on, okay. Fingeringcharts.com. Fingercharts.com. Finger charts. Flute. Yeah, okay. I'm downloading it right now. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so okay, so they're suggesting this, which I believe is Yeah, that is actually the first one that's suggested on WFG. Okay. Oh. And then there are other versions. Okay. Okay. Oh, but then I have to pay money to see the rest of it. I understand. I understand. But we can see if I mean, I don't have I mean, we could just do the pinky and see if that works. Oh, it's free on the website version? Okay. It says get the app. Keep scrolling to find just. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay. So we are doing this. Okay, so there's that version, and then there's this. Okay. Let's try the other one. Oh! So a lot of it depends on these three fingers at the end. Nope. And then this one's very close to what we were doing before. Is that the one? Is that the one that works on here? Because if it is, it's very close to what. Okay, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth one. The fifth one worked. This one's so awkward. Yeah, no. And then there's. Nope. Not that one. And then there's this one. Nope. And there's. Oh, this one's awkward. Nope. I think it's the fifth one. Yeah, it has to be that fifth one. Which, does the WFG one have that version? They do. It is actually the second one. Okay. And it's the one that is noted to give a better response. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I think I'm going to have to get used to that. If I go da. Okay, that's definitely coming out. We did end up figuring it out. So it's this one. Okay, so I need to get used to this. I need to get used to the angle that it comes out at. It's not quite the same angle as the other fingering on the B foot. So I remember it took me some time to get used to the one on the B foot too. So I just have to do it again. Oh well. So I'm going to make a note to myself to practice that. Okay. I want to see, am I able to like, can I insert a photo into this? I really don't think I can. That would be very cool if I could do that though. But no. So I'm just gonna have to draw it. Okay, we're gonna have to do a little bit of drawing here. Because if I don't, it ain't happening. Okay, give me a sec to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna completely forget this fingering. So we are doing there, and then essentially a half hole, or that is just the ring. Okay, and then this is such an ugly drawing, but it doesn't matter as long as I know what we're doing. Okay. Okay, I think that's the fingering. And then it froze on me. Oh no. It has frozen on me. Hello? Hello? Okay, well, oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, just kind of had a momentary flight of fancy. Okay, all right. So that is our F7. Okay, all right. Oh, now you guys know what my drawing pad looks like. I stole it from my husband. It's not actually mine. Okay. All right. So I need to call it quits very quickly. However, we have figured out a lot of really good stuff. And I know what I need to do in terms of practicing now. Hey, Toadstool, Ryan, right? You got a new Selmer Piccolo. That's fantastic. Congratulations. I want to play another one that I know I have previously had issues with the balance, which is Rapid as Wildfires. I don't have time to try it with the B-foot joint, so we're just going to see how it feels on the C-foot joint. I really love this one. So this is Rapid as Wildfires. It's one of the battle themes from Genshin Impact, the video game. So for which, if you guys play, you guys will know where my sweater comes from. Okay. I don't have to do any like weird motions anymore, but it's a little stiff right now because I'm forcing myself not to do what I usually do. Okay, yes, less resistance. Yeah, that feels good. Way easier. Definitely still trigger happy. Like trigger happy as in I'm also slapping it down, but I don't have to anymore. And I don't feel that the balance of the flute is like flipping or anything when I don't snap it down. Yeah, that meme definitely went all around the social media, right? Oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. But wow, that is a lot easier. I also don't have to shove that air bubble as high for those high notes. It's so much more comfortable. Going over the breaks, the C to D, it's so much easier, but my brain still thinks it's hard. So I have my work cut out for me for the next while, but oh my God, it's so much more comfortable. Oh, wow. That's amazing. And I don't have that like that strain right here. I usually have a little bit of like kind of strain right here. I'm actually starting to wonder if this might actually be the reason why, because I haven't practiced regularly for the last few months, especially while I had COVID, and then while this has been away from me for 2 months. I noticed that like I usually have some inflammation in my wrist. It's kind of on and off. Um, but I'm wondering now if that was actually from the flute. I think it might actually be from the flute, from like kind of. I'm only now realizing just how much tension I was holding in there to hold up the weight of the flute. That is wild. Absolutely wild. You're absolutely right. I should drink some water. I actually need to go now. I promised my husband and some of our friends that I would show up. So I need to clean up right now, even though I don't actually want to. And I think that's saying a lot. I wish I had a whole nother hour to mess around with this. I might do another hour or two next week of more kind of like messing around in front of you guys. Like I'll do some messing around on my own, but like I'm actually already late. I was supposed to end 6 minutes ago, but guys, this is too good to be true. Like this is absolutely insane. I don't know what to do with myself. I really don't know what to do with myself. I'm just like, what? Oh, I don't want to stop playing. But I also want to see our friends. I don't know. I have to clean up. I don't want to clean up. By the way, get your Lux cleaning cloth and polishing cloth from Just Another Flute Guy here in the chat. camvoyageonline.com. Not sponsored. He didn't tell me to say any of this, but I freaking love this stuff. So, yes. This is definitely, the cleanup pouting is definitely happening right now. I feel like I normally don't pout this hard to clean up. I really wish I had another like hour or 2 hours. I should have started this stream like at 1 o'clock. Like if I had known that I was just gonna go straight into problem solving mode, I probably should have started this at 1 p.m. just so I could go for like a full 4 hours. That would have been so good. Like as it stands though, I think I need to. Oh, it's just so light. It's so small. It's so light. Now I look like a normal flutist. Well, more normal. I still think it looks gigantic on me. I've been looking at myself in like my giant viewfinder here. I think I still look very small compared to the flute. It's just that the flute is slightly more proportional to me now. Discount code? Well, I don't know. I know that there was some sort of promotion going on with the. I'm not sure if the promotion is going on still with the combo. Is the combo still a thing? Is the combo still a thing? If the combo is still a thing, that I believe you get some percentage off for getting both of them. Is that right? Is that right? Is that right, Nicholas? Yes. Okay, it's still going. Excellent. So I don't. This is all I use now. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm so lazy that I'm not even swabbing my flute out in the middle anymore, like in the middle of an hour, because I'm just like, this will just get. It's completely dry, and it's like single pass. It's so great. I freaking love it. I wash it with my laundry every week. Washer and dryer. Yeah, completely dry. It's beautiful. Okay. Let's give this a little rub down. I love the C-foot. It's so perfect. It looks like it was just meant to be. It matches my flute perfectly. You know, because they use the exact same materials. Oh, I love it. I don't want to end. I don't want to end this stream. Link, camvoyageonline.com. There you go. All right. Very much worth the price, in my humble opinion, especially if you, you know, are working with professional level instruments, especially if, but honestly, treat yourself. It is so worth it. The best part is that you can wash and dry these with your laundry, and it's so convenient. You don't have to do any hand washing. No, none of that. Just stick it in the wash. I actually wash my clothes on warm, and nothing has happened to these from doing that. I'm not sure if you're supposed to wash these warm, but I do, and they look completely fine. Stick them in the dryer. They're completely and utterly fine. If it can go into laundry, that is worth it. You know, I know. You know, I know. Okay. When you as an adult, okay, when you buy clothes and stuff like that, and you buy this kind of stuff, it becomes paramount to know whether they are machine washable and dryable, because, you know, when life gets lifing, you don't have time to do freaking hand wash, blah, 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 you know. If you get to play, you have no time. Get it. Okay. Anyway, I need to be on the move now. So I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for joining me for today's really, really special stream. Thank you again to Brandon, to Flute Center, to Kari for making my C-footjoint. I think this has done exactly what I suspected, which this is going to open the way for me to become an even better flute player. And it has it has helped me break through my physical ceiling of how fast I can go. So I'm super excited. I am super excited to practice and to see what I can do. So yeah, seriously, thank you, everyone. Thank you to my husband. I feel like I'm giving an awards ceremony speech, which that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm just thank you, everyone. Thank y'all for watching me and for encouraging me and making me think about this stuff. If not for you guys, thank you to my students for, actually getting a C-footjoint and showing me the ways of a much easier life. And thank you to that one commenter who said that I look like I was playing an alto flute. You really, really, really made reality hit. So thank you. Yeah, I love y'all. Thank you. Seriously, if not for everyone around me, this would not be happening. So, yay. Okay, I'm gonna go to dinner now. Bye, everyone. I love you. Please stay happy, healthy, safe, because there's no music without the musician. See you. Bye.